So here's your part 2 of Chit Chat and Charcha with Mitra and Plato Quatra. Enjoy, humans, enjoy.
I don't think it's because I'm away, but I feel kind of emotionally detached from a lot of the events. Like it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't really hurt me at my core to know that some things are happening. I guess I kind of treat it like the status quo.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
People are really like emotionally invested in it, and they are passionate about these things and making positive changes. And I don't feel that way. I don't know why, because I obviously would want to change things, but I don't know why I feel less passionately about it.
But do you
Like
feel.
I would never post something on social media about a rape case.
Yeah.
Like because I that's not how I would want to express how I feel about it.
Yeah. But like, do you feel like the detachment is because you're away, or if you would have been here, it would have been the same?
No, not at all. I definitely felt that way when I lived in India too. And I also feel the same way about politics in the States. I feel the same way about Donald Trump. Like, I treat it like the status quo, and I'm not really emotionally affected by
Yeah.
the fact that he's president. Even though I would change it if it was within my power,
But
which
like
it is
it-
a little bit.
But like, if something outrageous did happen, would you get enraged by it, or no?
I don't think so. I don't think it's really ever happened. I don't know. I don't get emotionally
Charged.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't even I'm not even emotionally attached to like people. Like I've had deaths in my family and I've never like cried at a funeral. I don't know. I guess I'm just an emotionless bastard. That would make sense.
Yeah, that would make sense. I feel
That
like
would
that.
make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But do you feel like your detachment would in discussions lead to a diplomatic stand, or would you?
Yeah, I would like to think so. I like to think of myself as very diplomatic.
And you
But
see value in that?
yeah.
Okay.
So I would like to say yes. I don't know if I really can. I think maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I like to play devil's advocate sometimes,
Yeah.
but I also like to believe the best of people. Like
Yeah.
I would like to believe that if someone's doing something, then it's not because of some
Yeah.
like
Absolutely.
they have good intentions. I always try to wow, this sounds so anyway.
That's why your middle name
So
is
I
Plato. Go on.
oh that's true, it is Plato. I
Yeah.
can
Okay.
keep talking and people give a shit.
Lovely.
But
Go on.
like if I always try and justify people's actions, I guess, or
Mm-hmm.
try and think of the best possible reason that they
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. I think
I
I
came
I
up
react the same way.
I came up with the phrase "angel's advocate" because I feel like that's exactly what it is, but it
I
sounds really
like
dumb,
that.
so I never use it.
I think we need that on a t-shirt.
Angel's advocate.
Yeah.
So the thing is, what do you think people would react if they saw you wearing a t-shirt that said "angel's advocate"?
See, firstly, I don't think the like people are gonna get it.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not gonna get the joke.
probably.
After they get the joke, whoever the 5 people or
They'll
so
say, "ये
who
कहाँ का
actually
है
get
क्या?"
the joke, I'll be like, no, it's merch. So my dad and we were discussing this. I don't know, idea, concept, whatever.
Sure.
So I was telling him like I started really enjoying writing and like whatever, and maybe there's a future like in that, whatever. Anyway, I was talking to him about this,
Sure.
and he was like, to quote Hemingway as he does,
Oh my God.
your writing should not be too flowery, nor should it be too self-congratulatory.
So
And
you say, okay, I actually really like writing, and that's the first thing he says.
yeah, always, no.
Okay,
My
fine.
father has to give me gyan before he says okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not joking. That's the first thing he said.
No, I believe it.
Yeah. So he said that, and I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, both being self-congratulatory and being flowery with your language is kind of showing off about the fact that you're writing. I was like, okay, so like go further, and then he raised a valid point, which at least I thought it was valid, which is when someone's reading your book or reading anything that you've written, they shouldn't go, oh my god, what an intelligent writer. They should go, oh my god, what an intelligent story.
Okay.
So there should be just enough of you to make your story different from someone else's, but then there should be not so much that it's like all you're doing is talking about yourself.
Okay.
And then we would generally like, but then like my father's almost one of my father's favorite writers is Marquez, and that's all flower.
I
And
know, yeah.
all flower. Like, what's your take? I want to know.
Yeah, I have many thoughts.
Yeah.
So firstly, is this about So when you is this about your writing poetry or
No, no,
prose
it's
or
not even
what was?
related to. He has hardly read anything that I have written, so he doesn't
Sure,
know.
but when you say I've started to really enjoy writing, do you mean poetry or prose or for film?
All, all of the
All.
above.
So is it just like creating
Yeah, creating things with
creating art? Okay,
words.
yeah,
Yeah,
got it.
that's exciting.
So he said it can't be too flowery and it can't be too self-congratulatory.
Yes.
So
I'm gonna
is
find the
there a line?
exact Hemingway quote, but yeah, continue
Go ahead,
talking.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think of the right word, but is where's the line between flowery and emotionally charged writing? Is kind. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but like really good writing uses language to evoke emotions,
Okay,
right?
one sec.
Sure, sure.
Yes. You turn on the washing machine. I'm doing it now. Yes, sorry.
No,
What were
you're
you
fine.
saying? Emotionally charged.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, right. Wow. So yeah, so in my mind, like good writing, like it evokes emotions in the reader, and that's done by using emotionally charged language. And oftentimes, there like when the author uses like really out there language.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean, then that's really good at doing the job of evoking emotions.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think of poets, but I don't really know any poets. The first one that came to mind is Rupi Kaur, but that's purely because she's the poet that I thought of. I don't know if this really applies to her writing, but I guess yeah, her writing is pretty out there. I'd say.
It's out there, but it's like it's simply out there. Does that make
Right?
sense?
Yeah, that's not exactly what I mean, and it's I would say it's definitely not flowery.
Yeah.
So,
See, like again,
so yeah, go ahead.
like I
Go
understand
ahead.
what you're saying about emotionally charged. No, that like we can dispute this a lot. But again, flowery language, like to me, using flowery language is playing with the language itself,
Right.
right? And isn't that like what writing is supposed to be? Like you're supposed to be
Yeah,
playing with
100%. I mean, I
language.
just think that I would only call something flowery as a criticism if like I didn't like it. Like if I
Yeah.
wrote something and I was so if I create something I or if even if I like read any writing or art, I can usually like either make a statement that either I like it or I don't like it.
Yeah.
But if it seems flowery, then I won't like dismiss it immediately because I may like it. I sometimes like flowery stuff. That's kind of what
Yeah.
I'm into.
I feel like generally if you want to at all write, you can't be like specific and you can't say, no, I don't like it because it's too like flowery, it's too
Right, yeah.
pretentious, it's too this.
But it's I guess it's different when you're creating doing the writing. You have to think about stuff in a different way. But even if I write something
Yeah.
and it's really flowery, either I like it or I won't like it. And
Yeah.
like I don't necessarily think flowery writing is something that I would not think of as good writing. I'm sure some of my writing is pretty flowery.
Yeah, I know a lot of my writing is very flowery.
Yeah,
And I quite hate those pieces.
you do.
Yeah, because I see them as pretentious. Like I'm just.
Why do you mean? So how do you get from flowery to pretentious?
How do I get from flowery to pretend? I feel like at least in my case, like I'd use more language to somehow put across very simple, basic human emotions, but in a very
Okay.
like packaging it well in a way.
Okay.
And that's like but at the same time I do enjoy doing that because
Right.
it is you
Because
are
that's what art is.
yeah, exactly, you are finally like
Yeah, it's
playing around with language, you are playing around with
yeah,
words.
certainly.
So it's exciting to make it, but then when I look back at it in retrospect, I'm like, nah.
So do you still pick up on some of the emotions that you put into it while you're writing? Even if you
Yeah.
think it's like ganda, you still pick up on that, right?
Yeah, I do pick up on that, but then sometimes I don't know if this happens to you, but like you write something, okay, and you
Huh.
make it all flowery and you use lovely language and all of that,
Sure.
and then you come back to it months later and you're like, actually, what was the emotion behind this? Because you've covered the emotion with so much word.
Oh,
that
really? Oh,
you can't
I
see
I
through
don't
it.
have that.
Okay, I have that.
But that makes sense. I do get.
Like you
I do
don't
get
remember the
what you
place that
mean.
you wrote it from
Right.
in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Then
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely wouldn't. So I mean, then that means reading that work is contingent on on the reader knowing where it's coming from.
Or at least getting an inkling of where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because if you read that and you can't really pick up on the emotions that that are there, but you used to be able to because you used
Yeah.
to remember the state of mind in which you wrote that.
Yeah.
So I guess there's something to be said for that. So it has to be so.
But coming back to
There's something
the
there.
flowery to show off, like I understand that connection because like you're showing your kind of mastery over the language in a way. I don't know. I'm not sure. But at the same time you're showing so I had to do like a project on post colonial Indian literature,
Okay.
and the changes that occurred based on the fact that the British had left. Because
Yeah.
when the British were here, even Indian poets were writing as "tis thou art," whatever, blah
Sure.
blah blah. And then like Nissim Ezekiel came in, and then Sarojini Naidu came in, and they kind of broke down British English into Indian English. Wait, I have to find a poem, but like, yeah, and like, and because their language is really simple and very simply put, especially in like, yeah, okay. So there's this poem, by Nissim Ezekiel, which is called Soap. Okay, and the first para goes, so people are not having manners. This I am always observing. For example, other day I find I am needing soap for ordinary washing myself purposes. So I'm going to one small shop nearby in my lane and I'm asking for well-known brand soap. And like the entire poem goes on in that Indian English or whatever. But like that's poetry still. Except that when you read it, it doesn't sound stereotypically poetic.
No, that's true. But I mean, it definitely engaged me. I definitely like from hearing that first paragraph. I definitely wanted, like, I felt like I wanted to read the rest of that poem because it was pretty interesting. I kind of wanted to know what he's saying because that was definitely like an interesting choice of language, I guess.
So then, what separates poetry from prose if it's written like that? Like other than the fact that the line division is different and like literal the physical form of it is different, what separates it if you write like Rupi Kaur as well.
Right.
Her poetry could easily be made into prose. She writes prose sometimes as
Oh,
poetry.
that's true.
So like
Well, so in prose, like in prose, language is never divided up into lines except for sentences and paragraphs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. But each of these lines could be a sentence. Is the
Right, I guess. But in that Nissim Ezekiel poem, was that so that one paragraph was maybe 2-3 sentences across 5 or 6 lines?
Yeah, I guess 2-3 sentences. Yeah, across like 8 lines or so. Yeah.
And I think at some level, I think that prose, the when writing prose, you use language to describe something, whereas in poetry, you use language to evoke emotions.
Poetry is a word.
Poetry is a, what does it mean though? Like
it's just plural of poetry.
What is one poetry? Poetry is not like what is a poetry?
I have no idea what is a poetry. So it turns out that there is going to be a part 3 where we talk about our own poetries. I don't know if you want this or you don't want this, but it's coming your way, whether you like it or not. Well, I enjoy it, so that's all that matters, I guess.